So in Transformers: The War for Cybertron Trilogy's Kingdom toy line, Hasbro decided to make an Arc, but it was also a Transformer, and it came with Teletran 1, and it transformed into a full Titan-scaled robot. And a lot of fans were wondering if they were going to do the Decepticon ship, the Nemesis. And lo and behold, with Transformers Legacy, they have actually done so. And here she is in packaging. And a subscriber sent her to me. And yes, it is a female jet. That's what they decided to do for this particular figure. You can see all of this wonderful packaging art. And it looks fantastic. And we are going to show it off in its full glory. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase some merch on my spring store today. Here is the Nemesis outside of the box, and you could see how magnificent the ship really looks. There is a lot of molded detail all over the place. All of the parts that they come together when you finally get it this way. I have the ship in what they consider landing mode, because the way that this ship took off in the original G1 cartoon was, directly, vertical, so it went, straight up. So when they had it, specifically, the ship itself would fly this way, and that's how you ended up with the ship taking off. Because the Nemesis in particular was the ship that pursued the Ark in the original cartoon, and then of course they boarded the Autobot ship using a boarding chute. And what's really cool, and this is it's cool on both sides of the ship, is that, and just to get this out, let's see, maybe I'll actually use the other side, but in particular, is that, you open up the flap, and it has these, this ramp that can connect to, other ramps that are out there. And then, of course, I already put them on here, is they have slugs on each side. They have an Earth Seeker, which could be Starscream, and they have, I believe this is one is Ramjet, the other one is Thrust, and then it's a Cybertronian Seeker, all in jet mode. And they come on a separate pad, but I already put them on here like so. And of course, you can, have it tilt down that way so they can kind of come out if you need it to. It also, on that same sprue, are these removable blasters, and I have them in this configuration. And of course the top part here is also removable, and I think they did that so that it wouldn't get damaged during shipping. And on the back here of the ship are these thrusters, and it has a entrance ramp as well, so this way the Decepticons can get inside the ship. Now I do want to make mention of this before I do anything else with the ship, is to talk about the fact that the Nemesis pursued the Ark, and then it crash landed on Earth as well. And many fans kind of get confused about this ship and the one that was used for the rest of Season 1 and Season 2. Because when this ship crash landed on Earth, we never saw it again until a Season 2 episode called Microbots, where they found the ship, got the actual star driver called the Heart of Cybertron, and actually put that inside Megatron in that episode. But the Nemesis itself was lost, so to speak. And then at the end of at the end of the first 3 episodes, the Decepticons build another starship that is similar but different than the Nemesis, and that's what crash lands into the ocean and is the ship that is used as the Decepticons' undersea headquarters. And so the Dreamwave comics called it the Nemesis erroneously, and whereas in this particular case, no, this ship is a different ship. Now, the Nemesis was also found in Beast Wars when the Nemesis was, was found in the ocean. And then what they decided to do was to have Beast Wars Megatron use the Nemesis against the Autobots and the Maximals as he was attacking the Ark. And then it crash landed into what we would now consider the place where it's found in the episode Microbots. Anyhow, I gotta say, like, the ship itself is really, really nice looking. And it's kind of hard to get all of this in frame because I want to show you guys this ship next to the Ark. And it's really, really difficult to do that. But you can kind of see from in scale, like, the Ark itself is a bit smaller. And that is, of course, because the Nemesis is more angular. Oh, one other thing I want to make mention, of course, is that in packaging, this is how they come separated, and this is where they go. And you can see so much molded detail in here. I mean, I want to try and see if I can get in close up on here. And I really like this ship a lot better than the Ark, at least as far as the figure itself is concerned. And I mean, you can see like so much molded detail in there that they made to make the ship. The other thing, of course, and I'll show that during transformation, is about how these wings are separated as well. So it's just kind of a way to, get it all to fit in the box, but it also prevents the toy from getting completely broken during shipping because it's a massive ship. And that's just pretty much it. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys before transformation is this in particular, the chair that comes with Coronation Starscream. So this particular chair is not meant for Starscream, believe it or not, even though all of the accessories for Coronation Starscream like fold into the back, and you can put all of the parts there if you need to in order for storage, and that's fine. But the problem is that, well, this isn't actually in Transformers the movie. This was aboard the bridge of the Nemesis. And, well, this ship really, the chair itself was where Megatron was sitting when he was saying, "Blast off," or "Follow them." Like, he was sitting in this chair, telling all the Decepticons to pursue the Autobot Ark. And then, of course, release the boarding chute before all of the Decepticons came aboard the Ark, and then the Ark crash landed on Earth 4 million years ago. So that is just something to take note of with the chair in and of itself, and to know the origins of it. And one other thing also, I know a lot of fans are going to make mention of this as I get this in ready for transformation, is that the ship itself was never a Transformer. At least as far as we know from the, original G1 cartoon and comics and everything. This really only started becoming a thing when it came down to the Ark becoming a Transformer for the War for Cybertron trilogy. But before that, the other large ships, Decepticon ships that we know of that were Transformers, we had Tidal Wave in Transformers Armada, which was a bunch of boats. And then, of course, we had the Nemesis as it was in the Transformers Prime cartoon. Now, lore for that is that the Nemesis was built from the corpse of Trypticon. So Trypticon basically died and was used to build the Nemesis in the War for Cybertron game. And then, of course, the ship was the Nemesis. But it never transformed, but they used Dark Energon, and basically they were reviving it, so to speak, and that is why the ship went and turned on. But the showrunners of Transformers Prime didn't want to connect Transformers Prime to the rest of the Align continuity because they butted heads with Hasbro. And so that is why it never transformed, why they were trying to eliminate all references to it being Trypticon, even though there is something on the screen. And I think I talked about that in my Trypticon retrospective, but I'll make mention of that again when I do a Nemesis retrospective in the future. Anyhow, looking at it this way, this is how you're supposed to get this ship ready for transformation. And I'm going to try and do this the best that I can on camera. I'm going to pull this back, and you're going to kind of see a little bit of my mess that I have. You're going to see some action figures and some labels that I have there because I was preparing to do a lot more with, some customs and stuff like that. So, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull the bridge itself back so it kind of gets out of the way. And this part here kind of comes apart. And we're going to open that up and open this up as well, because this folds out this way. And then we're going to disconnect. Actually, it's this part here. That part disconnects. And from here, the underside of the ship itself, this whole undercarriage, comes out this way. So it disconnects from here. And I'm doing it this way, right? I'm trying to be very careful about this slow so you guys can see the transformation. It's very, very difficult to do on camera because of its size. But you open it up like so. And like that. Now, there is a panel here that you open up, and that flips open the fists, and this turns over, and there it opens up the claw. And we do the same thing on the other side. Rotate it 180 degrees. This way. There, that opens up. Now comes the tricky part. First and foremost, I'm going to separate the shoulders here. And the reason why you want to do it this way is because it separates from the top, and the top part of the ship stays put because that becomes the chest. And very, very careful about that. There we go. You can see the joints are nice and tight, which is really, really nice for this particular transformer overall. Then I'm going to flip open or flip down the what is the chest. I'm going to flip it down just a little bit, and because everything's got to get moved out of the way for this side of the transformation, which involves separating the legs all together, which is the bottom part here. And you can see it just like pops apart, and as it pops apart, this whole piece comes down. I'm going to flip the feet out. I really love the ratcheting on this altogether. It's just really, really like satisfying, so to speak. And I'm going to turn the legs in like so, and then this whole section flips in, this part comes down, and the wing is supposed to flip out this way and go in and create that leg. And you can still see that there's enough joint there for the rest of the leg. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm knocking over Transformers into my other bin. Like so. And there we have the legs able to stand up. It's kind of difficult to see here, but I want to try and show this on camera. But this part comes around like so. Oop. And take note also here, you can probably see that this is on a mushroom peg, which is good because if you use too much force, you don't want it to snap and break. And they at least make it easier to get turned around. And I'm just doing this on purpose because I want you guys to see that it could become easier to actually pop it off, but it doesn't have to come off when you do so. And then this whole section can rotate 180 degrees because back section here, I'm just trying to get this on in frame, is that the chest comes down, head flips up and over, and then the bridge of the ship kind of sits in a weird angle. It kind of like sits in like so. And the whole section here is designed to connect to the bridge. So you have to make the bridge go in like so. A little tricky, but I kind of like to take the bridge out a little bit because it's got to connect to this tab right there, and I might have to do it on off, where you might not be able to see on camera, but this whole section here is supposed to flip up, snap into place. There it goes. So, and we're going to rotate her around, and the wings themselves here flip in like so. So they're actually supposed to go up. These rotate around 180 degrees, and they separate as well. So I actually got to use them to separate it. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, so you can all see. And again, they're supposed to fold in, but I use them to pull the wings apart, and that is how the feet are supposed to transform. Now, I can't see. Are we on camera? No, we're not on camera. Okay. If we look up, there you can see the rest of the robot. Take note here that the chest opens up. And the first pictures I took when I transformed her, I didn't open this up, and there is a Decepticon symbol there. And the head rotates around 180 degrees, and then opens up like the flat, you know, there's kind of like slides up this way, so you can see the eyes. And there you have the Nemesis. Well, just gotta make sure that that's popped on properly. And make sure we're still on camera. Yeah, you can kind of see. This is, like I said, it's really difficult to show her on camera as I'm transforming her, because it's just a large transformer, and you know, Titans are not an easy thing to film. But anyhow, you gotta say it looks really, really nice. It's just, of course, my lighting is not showing how all of the detailing looks on her. And if I try to get a little bit closer on her, I'm going to use, you know, I'm just going to pick up my stand so you can kind of see the detailing on this. The head is very loose, but it rotates really well, and her head looks fantastic. The articulation on her is exactly as you would expect, I think. She's got the, you know, waist rotation, she's got bicep rotation, but of course I'm having a little difficulty showing that to you on camera. But the one thing she has going for her specifically that I think that I love the robot. The robot looks fantastic, but her weaponry, not so much. So when I talked about this right here, these pieces come off, and it's supposed to be like a short, like little hatchet that she's supposed to carry. Well, and it does have a spot there, like on her on her fist itself to stay put. You know, you could put that in place, but it doesn't look good. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that these look good as weapons. I think they just, being, you know, kind of decoration, so to speak, work well as they are. But I do like this, is that the shoulder pieces here, the shin pieces here, come off. And they're designed to, because that's how they come, you know, the shin pieces come off for the, you know, in shipment. So you're just going to get the ship, and the wings are going to be in like a separate, like, bag somewhere in the packaging. And, you know, you're going to sit there and wonder, well, where is it, right? Well, it pops off, and the two pieces, and yeah, she does have really good articulation for being a robot of her size, which is like something of and of itself. Just looks really, really menacing. These actually transform. So what you can do, you can open them up. Now the instructions don't actually have you open them up, but instead what they do is have you use this piece here on the bottom. That becomes the handle, and then this is supposed to turn into the blaster, and it looks better as a crossbow, but it's supposed to be up like this, which doesn't look as good, personally speaking. So I just flip it down, sticks right into the hand, and there is a piece, there are two like notches right here, which you can see actually go into the pegs there onto the arm and give her her blasters. And yeah, she just looks, you know, great standing next to, you know, standing here with her blaster ready to fire on Autobots. And again, for scale, you know, since I had my my other Transformers here, I could show her standing next to Road Rocket. You know, you could see she's like rather small compared to how big the Nemesis is. And boy, does the Nemesis look fantastic. And just so you could see here, I'm holding up the camera so you can see the Ark and the Nemesis both in robot mode, contrasting and comparing both of them in robot mode. And you could see how much detailing. I mean, I gotta say, of the two, the Nemesis just looks, you know, leagues better in robot mode, comparatively speaking. And yeah, it's very difficult to do, you know, Titan class reviews because of their scale, but you know, you could see how good the robots look together, standing next to each other. And personally speaking, I think the Nemesis looks a lot better. And I like the fact that, yes, they decided to make specifically the G1 Nemesis be female, to be something different than the Ark. And, you know, since the Ark's main computer, of course, is Teletran 1, and the Nemesis, well, I don't believe necessarily had a speaking computer, but kind of cool that you can have like a, you know, an added bit to the lore, so to speak. And it's still something cool nonetheless. So let's wrap this up. Now, overall, as I said, I really dig this figure. I think she looks great in both modes. Specifically, I probably would keep her in ship mode, but her robot mode is actually really menacing looking. I actually dig it in a lot of ways. And on top of that, I think it's a much better figure than the Ark overall. Even though with the Ark, you get the, you know, Teletran 1 and, you know, the mainframe figure out of the, you know, the center of the chest. This one with the Nemesis, she actually, she looks a lot cleaner, the way she transforms, the way she poses, and she's a lot more menacing looking. Of course, the couple of different issues, like the panels here on the chest kind of tend to close very easily, and the head is a little bit loose, and the other, you know, maybe a couple of other things that, but there really isn't much that I can say negative about this figure. I actually think it's you know, a great looking figure overall. Do I think it belongs in your collection? Well, yeah, if you like Titan class figures and you like a lot of these big Decepticon ships, this is definitely one to go for. Of course, I want to know what you guys think, so leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers news, retrospectives, and more coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for all of that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.